Hey everyone, so someone has sent me, very kindly, or Bevins has sent me some nice lamps. People call them bulbs, but bulbs put in the ground. I mean, we're going to call them bulbs from now on, just so you know, and those are crying out. But yes, they are technically lamps, but everyone calls them bulbs. LED bulbs is on there. So we're going to have a look what they look like, and then the biggest test for me is how they respond in two different light fittings, one projector and one just a standard halogen reflector style. We'll also compare them in size and design to another LED I have that I've been trying and a halogen. So, looks like some sort of aluminium, bit of laserette writing on it, very nice. And the unit themselves, it's actually quite small as you can see. Very similar size to a halogen bulb. We'll have a look in a minute. There's a little cooling core inside there. You can see that copper inside. They do get hot. And there might even be a little fan in there. Interesting though, because that'll just be circulating the heat within the headlight. But maybe that's all they need. It's got some heft to it, I've got to admit. So that's compared to this, which is very highly rated. So this is what I've been testing recently, and you can tell by the size, the actual difference when they're fitted isn't much. The chip looks slightly bigger in this one, but only very slightly. But this one, interesting enough, doesn't look like you can clock this one. Maybe you can clock it just that way, 180 degrees, 90 degrees or 180, because that makes a difference on the beam pattern. Huge difference. Now this one, it is a good design. You can rotate it and lock it in place, which helps. But the negative is this massive cooling package on the back, fan in there. Really does cause issues. But we'll compare them. I know how much these cost. I know how much these cost. What do they compare like to a halogen bulb? Well, a typical halogen bulb might look something like this. These are upgraded ones. One is an Agatipitech. So this is just like a generic eBay upgraded one. Cheap. Very expensive one on the left here. This one here, which you can just see a slight tint to. So as you can probably already guess, compared to the big one, massive difference in size and weight. But compared to this one, yeah, pretty good. Much closer to this comparison, which is what they advertise as. Yeah. So it does look, by the tangs on this, that maybe the idea is you can fit it in 90-degree intervals to help with the beam pattern. That's the biggest issue I always have with these LED upgrades, is the beam pattern just goes all over the place. It looks really bright, but actually when you're driving at night, you can't really see where you're going, you're just dazzling everyone. Okay. That one's the same size, it's an H7. Yeah, so that one's going to be tested on my 306, so we'll put that aside. Let's get out the other bulbs that we have. So in a new project car, it's got some good old school factory HIDs, which are, as most people know, can't work out how to get in this box, pretty good. They're quite good. They have their negatives, but they are pretty good. So, comments on the packaging. The packaging is very good actually. Right, the D series LED headlights. So these are designed to replace the HIDs. I don't know where it says on it somewhere. HID to LED D1. Okay. Now these look quite beastly. Wowee. Wowee. Similar colour of design to their H7s. There is definitely more. So you can see on these LED chips kind of how much of the micro chip of the LED is on there. So on this one here, to replace the H7 is 6 per side, so it's 12 in total. And I would say that's 3 by 5, maybe? So that's 15 per side, 30 to 12. So this is naturally going to be brighter, but it takes more energy, hence why there's a big difference in the cooling core on these two. So the cooling core on that one is just down in here, and the cooling core here is gigantic. gigantic. It's practically a heatsink for a graphics card, you know, maybe 20 years ago, but that does look cool. Very cool. Very cool. You're not going to see it, of course. So we'll test this compared to the HID as well. Now, it is summer, so that will be interesting. I'm going to have to look at the fitment of them. I'm not sure yet how easy they'll fit, but we're first going to try the comparison to the halogen ones, the H7s, and then we'll switch to these. But we're going to need it to go dark, so let's wait for it to go dark. Fit them in. We're going to have one side halogen, one side LED, and then we'll put both LEDs in, i.e. the type I had been testing and this new type. And we'll see how they compare. So, see you in the car. There's not any claims on the H7 box, to be honest. But on this box, it claims it's cool white. I went for cool white for both. 6,000 on the Kelvin scale. 200% broader. Don't really know what it means. Wider, maybe? 250% further. Nice. And easy to install. I'll be the one to judge that one. But let's see what it is actually close to that. The LED ones, to be honest, if they can just get a little bit brighter but keep the beam pattern, I'll be impressed. It's the beam pattern that I'll be most impressed with of these. Because they do look cooler, even if they're not any brighter. They do look cooler. Give you that modern car look. So let's see what it actually looks like in the dark. Cup of tea time. Okay, so let's get our new LED. Don't touch the lens. Instructions are to have the LEDs facing 90 degrees to the ground. So something like that. I'm guessing. And that is indeed what they're doing. So let's put the clamp in. Yeah, they fit just like a normal bulb. Pretty nice compared to the big ones, which I showed you earlier, which stick out here and it's a bit awkward. So that's it. So we'll find out what the bulb beam pattern is like when it goes dark. Okay everyone, so here is a side-by-side comparison of the beams. As you can tell, the other leading brand of halogen on the left, it looks a lot duller, looks a lot more like brownish yellow. However, the LED looks good. It has a very strong beam pattern in the center, as you can probably tell. However, I would say there's a little bit of dispersion directly above that pattern. There is a little bit with the halogen, not too bad. But it would be nice to see that spread of LED more to the right and the left, below that edge. It's almost spotlight. I can tell on the camera it doesn't show that so well, but you can tell on the camera that a lot of the light is concentrated on one spot, like 1 square foot almost on the wall in front of me. So that's first observations. Let's hit the road and let's see what it's like actually in real life, so to speak. Well, this is real life, but not pointing at a wall. So a bit further away, and you can see that LED dispersing a bit more. You can see the good beam pattern, but it's still not as tight on that top left flick, and now it's flicking as well, which is interesting, as the left hand one. Interesting on the flickering. Very interesting on the flickering. Don't know why it's doing that. So, very bright, very easy to fit. It's just the beam pattern is not tight enough for me to be happy to use these in this vehicle, Peugeot 306. That's my review of that. Right, let's go and have a cup of tea. Okay, so we've adjusted the camera settings just to get a bit more like what I'm seeing. And you'll probably notice that the LEDs, right side, halogen left, it's a lot whiter light. So it's not necessarily easy on the eyes, remember white light when you're driving. You can tire the eyes a lot out compared to a yellower light. I wouldn't say it's brighter. It's whiter, but not necessarily brighter. It's not to my eyes here anyway. It's nice that it's white, but there is that big dead zone, and it's exactly where I need to see. To be honest, it's covering to my right, and it's covering in the centre, but there's this dead zone. As I look ahead at like 2 o'clock, that is a bit uncomfortable. So we're going to try main beam. We've got LED main beam on the right and halogen main beam on the left, and that is very nice. I like that. Oh, that's lovely. Oh, I can't deny that almost feel like the halogen isn't on. That is awesome. Right, after that faff, we're back on the road, and you can see that the sort of higher powered LED that had been tested before is on the left now. You can't actually really see the difference, if I'm honest. What I would be interested to try is I'll probably try that LED on the right side, so you can get rid of that dark spot. But the trouble is with this LED that I'm testing today in this review is that little dark spot, and then it's really bright on the right hand side, which is where it's going to dazzle people. So I'll have to be dipping my headlights like that, which loses a lot of the vision when you put main beam on. It just brightens the road right in front of you rather than up ahead. So in halogen reflector headlights, like in this Peugeot 306, my review is that yes, it's whiter and it's a bit brighter, but I don't think it's better for driving on the dipped beam. However, on main beam, wow, very impressed with main beam, and I will probably put them both main beam on LEDs on those little bulbs because they don't take up much room. Lovely and bright, got a good vision ahead of me now. Yeah, I like this, very good. Right, let's now try the HID replacement LED bulbs in the 807. I'm very curious to see if they do and perform better than the HIDs, and they'll certainly be cooler. So yeah, let's give them a try now. So now we're switching to the larger bulbs, the D series. I'm trying them on a Peugeot 807. It's up for some repairs, but we're going to take it out in the dark in a bit. We've got the high intensity discharge bulbs, the originals. They look like that. You never touch the glass on those, just FYI. And then these, which are replicated to be, yeah, pretty good. And then on the main beam, we're switching out the halogens, some Philips bulbs for these LEDs. So this side of the car, the left side as we drive, will all be this new company's bulb technology. And on this side, we're going to have some original bulbs, the HIDs, and some Philips bulbs for the main beam. They're pretty easy to fit in this. It's no difference really to any normal bulb, or if I was just replacing them, it's just a clip on both. This one's just got the plug, but you just pull it out, unplug it, plug it into the new one, clip it in, and this one's just got the classic clip and plug on it as well. So nothing fancy to show there. The access on one of these vehicles on this side is more difficult than that side, but it's always a case with these sort of more modern stuff that it's always a bit of a fiddle. It's not like you're doing it every week, is it? So let's go and see, because it's sunny and summer, what it's like at about 10 PM tonight, and it's properly dark, and we'll see the difference between the two bulbs or lamps on main beam and dipped, and see what the colour looks like as well, and go from there. Okay everyone, so we think we've got the camera settings right to kind of replicate what I can see with my bare eyes, naked eyes if you like. So here we have the left hand side is LED and the right side is HID. It's amazing actually how the HID looks so yellow next to the LED. I wouldn't say the LED is any brighter, it's just a different colour range. The main beam gives a greater impression of how different the brightness can be. These HIDs flick round and then it's aided by a second light, and certainly the left hand side appears to be giving more light, but we shall see as we hit the road. Okay, and that's how they look different wise. I have put another brand's LED side light down there, but you can see how much whiter the LEDs are on the right compared to on the left, where we've got HID and halogen working. The HID itself is obviously a little bit whiter than the halogen, but what a difference that makes over on that one side. Lovely. Right, we've adjusted the headlights a little bit. Let's go for a final drive just to see what they look like with those adjusted. Will I be able to replacing these HIDs both sides with LED? Probably. If nothing else for the looks. We'll keep the HIDs handy though, because they're expensive. But yeah, nice. I think this is the perfect opportunity for LEDs. You can see that halogen light to the right isn't quite right. I'll have to do some adjustment on that on the headlight. But you can see how yellow it is compared to the beautiful LED headlights. But something to bear in mind there is that a projector headlight is where these absolutely reign supreme. In headlights where they haven't got the little projector in, they just got reflector headlights, that's where the LEDs just still aren't quite, the technology isn't quite there. That's my honest opinion with these light bulbs, or lamps if you wish. Thank you very much for sending me these from the company. There is a link below to purchase, and all the relevant other bits and bobs links below for the company. Thanks very much. This is Piggypower, driving a Peugeot 807 in the dark to show you how light bulbs change how light looks. Yeah. Science.